It's so weird. It's so weird how fast we can evolve, just even like as a collective. You know what I mean? Like I had a phone that you plug into the wall in my bedroom, I believe, when I was a teenager. It had like one of those spiral cords, and you picked it up and you like hit the buttons. And then I called my friends, and then when they didn't answer, that means they weren't at home. Because if you weren't at home, you couldn't talk on the phone. And this was like I'm not old. You know what I'm saying? Like this was not that long ago. And now we have evolved as a collective where not only do we have the tech where we can talk anywhere, we've evolved to where it's a part of our bodies now. Anyway, there's a little rampage for you. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Making sure we're live on the internets. If not, I'm just sitting here talking to myself, which I don't mind doing that. What's up, Mary Lynn? Good morning, Robin. All right, y'all. This week we have been talking about reinventing yourself. And I don't know about you, but I am ready for another level. I'm ready for Heather 2. Well, that ain't 2.0. Lord, I don't know what point oh we're at right now in my life. I don't know about you. My goodness. But we've been talking about reinventing yourself this week. I wanted to share this quote with you. This is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Change your life, change your energy. I don't like that because that means that change comes from within, and all the things that I want to evolve and become first has to manifest and make itself known inside of me, which means I'm kind of responsible. And that sucks. That sucks. We have an awesome show for you this morning. Buckle in. Buckle it all.
Good morning and welcome to the number one morning show in America. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to one, father to nine, author, speaker, and the founder of 800%.life. It's 5:30 a.m. and it's time to rise and grind.
Every guest I've had on this week has been like, that song is hype. I'm like, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. You need to watch Glenn Lundy live in the morning. That's hype. Speaking of, I'm not Glenn Lundy. I'm Heather Parody, but I am so grateful to be here with you. I am guest hosting this week while our fearless leader is out at NADA speaking, changing lives, hugging necks, and hopefully getting some sleep. I am pro Glenn getting more sleep. Is that just me? That's just me. He's always like, I got like an hour of sleep last night. And I'm like, oh my goodness sakes. How's your brain? How is your brain? Good morning, everyone. If you're new around here, this is a daily live morning show at 5:30 a.m. where we come together, start our day off with intention, motivation, inspiration, and education. I think I got that right. The world is going fast and trying to lead us in all kinds of directions. So pausing, getting still, setting our own plans and sticking to that. It sounds easy, but it actually takes some grit. It takes some grit. So I'm so grateful for this incredible community that comes here every single morning. Mike in the house, Trisha, good to see you, and Kimberly, what's going on, everybody? I love y'all's emoji game. Let's just talk about that. So if your girl's a little loopy, speaking of no sleep, I got in a couple of hours ago. I was at a storytelling event. I got to tell a story. I don't know if you guys have ever been to like the Moth or live storytelling. It's an incredible experience. It's like if you think about, you go and watch a set of stand-up comedians. Imagine if those people weren't funny. That's what we do. I just sold that really good. Actually, we get up and we share a 5 to 10 minutes true life story based on our lives. And it's so cool. Here, let me show you a clip of this real quick. I don't know if you guys have ever been to one of these things. Here we go. Let me get us.
I studied graphic arts. I dated a few guys. None of them were that special. None of them did it for me.
Address. Probably not supposed to give it to
That's
you,
me.
but do you want it? So then I go to the
What's
library.
cool
I've never used one of those things
is
before.
after we share a story, that band right there will play a song based off of our story. So it's like it's a very, very, very cool vibe. But yeah, that's in Atlanta. So I trucked on down the road to get back here to be with you this morning, and super grateful for you as well, getting up this morning and spending some time with me this week. I chose this topic because, like I mentioned in the intro, this has been a question on my mind and something I've been really just seeking after is, what does it mean to evolve? And each layer that you go, sometimes, you know, it's not that it gets easier, but we get better, but also the game changes. You know that saying that says, like, what got you here doesn't get you there. And so to think that we have the evolution game checked, or the change game, that we always need to be checking ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, am I really growing into the man or woman that I'm called to be? You know what I mean? So that's why we chose this topic today. We're going to go a little bit deep this morning. I know you don't mind. But drop in the chat and let me know. Have you ever been to a storytelling event? Yes or no? It's called, like, if you look up the Moth, you can kind of see a little bit of a vibe of what we do. But this week we had, do y'all guys remember who was Monday? We had Ty Jackson on, and we were talking about reinventing yourself. And here's a little clip from that, just to do a little replay, just in case y'all forget, just in case.
Tell you, the greatest motivator for me to continue and push and drive is fear. And I think that people look at fear in a negative, and I've never, especially as an entrepreneur, looked at it that way. I'm more fearful of what happens if I don't push myself. I'm more fearful of what happens if I don't accomplish my goals. Tell you,
So
the
that was
greatest motivator for me to
Lord Jesus, I love clicking on buttons and then clicking the wrong thing. It's funny, it's yesterday my daughter, she said, she was telling me good luck tomorrow, last night, for me telling the story. She goes, as long as you don't sing, Mom, you'll be great. You'll be good. I don't know what she's talking about. I think I do good. But Monday, Ty was talking to us about when we reinvent, we have to be okay with failure. It's a part of the process. Was it Tuesday? Y'all remember who we had on Tuesday? This one was a good one. We had Tumba Cool with us, who is training the 800% horse. And if y'all remember, what he talked about was when we reinvent ourselves, we have to do it with precision. We have to be focused on consistency and being well prepared. No, Tara, no. You need to show up. Ty, Tumba, and Dr. Brandy. And y'all remember what Dr. Brandy shared with us yesterday? Little clip from Dr. Brandy. I actually don't think I have some sound on this, but that's okay. This idea that whenever you kind of get to the really hard bottom of something, there's Dr. Brandy talked about when you reinvent yourself, that we have to be intentional with the community that we set around us, and also learning to set boundaries. Right. So let me know in the comments which one of these interviews really stuck out to you, maybe something that you pulled away from it. Good morning, Alexandria. But if you guys will do me a favor, I know I'm not as funny as Glenn Lundy, you and your jokes. But do me a favor and share this out to somebody, whether it is on your profile or in a DM, to help us get this word out about this morning show and this community. I just love giving Glenn a hard time. I'm sorry. I tase him and I get more country. When we are in the process of evolving, I interviewed a man yesterday for my podcast, Unconventional Leaders. He's a pastor out in Atlanta. His name is Bishop Foreman. And what they're doing over at Harvest Church in Atlanta is incredible. They are reaching tens of thousands of people every single week. And thank you, Mike. Share. Good morning, Denny. It's really hard for a ADD person to be live and see all these messages. Just saying. But Bishop Foreman out in Atlanta, and they're reaching thousands and thousands of people. And he has an incredible story of evolution himself. And I took a few of the pieces that really stood out to me in our conversation around evolving and evolution. And I wanted to share that with you guys today to give you a little bit more insight. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with an interview. It's going to be our last one in the series. But I also wanted to connect with you today because I have some things I want to share with you. And I think we need to kind of come together and do a little recap. So, this first clip, I asked Bishop Foreman about kind of the cyclical process. I love the word cyclical, the cyclical process of evolution, because I don't know about you. I was explaining it to my husband like this. Whenever we're evolving, it's like a cycle where, we maybe evolve past a certain situation or a certain mindset or a certain point in our growth, and we kind of reach that we've been striving for, right? And a lot of times folks stop there because it's comfortable. We've gotten out of the neighborhood, we've paid off the debt, we've maybe conquered the health thing, we've gotten to the point that we have been struggling and trying to achieve. And then when we decide to step into the next evolution of ourselves, that beginning stage can almost feel like you're a beginner again. You know what I mean? And so you may be in a greater place than you were before, but you may not feel like you're making the progress that you really are. It's like going on the stair stepper. God bless those freaking stair steppers. Those things suck. But when you start to build the resistance a little bit more, you can go a little longer, go a little faster. And then you sweat even more and you struggle even more, even though you're doing more, right? So I asked the bishop about this.
My book, Evolutionaries, literally speaks to that exact topic. Because for most people, life is a destination, but it's not. It's a journey. It's a series of destinations. Like once I get here, then there's another journey that starts to get here. And there's another journey that starts to get here. And you can have multiple journeys going on in multiple areas of your life, which is why you can feel super accomplished in one area and super failing in another area. You can feel like, this is not working, but I have a great marriage, but I do not like what I do for a living, or I love what I do for a living, but this man is driving me nuts. This woman is driving me nuts, what have you. And the reality is life is a constant series of evolutions. And why evolution versus revolution? Revolution just means change. In fact, a revolution, if you think of it like in an engine, it's actually just a circle. It doesn't mean you actually went anywhere. Evolution is always progressive change. And here's the perfect example. It's a butterfly. A butterfly starts as small as a sesame seed on a sesame seed bun. Nothing like what we see it looking like flying around. So if you were to see that sesame seed, you would say, that's going to be a butterfly? No, I mean, it looks like it belongs on a Big Mac, 2 all beef patties, special sauce. Like it doesn't look like what it's going to become. That's the same thing true for our lives. Doesn't look like what it's going to become. Second stage, it eats its way out of that initial sac that it's in, and it becomes 100 times its size. So it's the caterpillar we're all familiar with. And it's looking really good compared to where it started, but that's not where it's going to end. And what's crazy is it grows to 100 times its size in stage 2. Something crazy happens. All of a sudden, the conditions that are around the caterpillar and the response of the caterpillar makes it do something that doesn't make sense. It makes it go into a chrysalis or a cocoon where it is literally buried underground or behind a leaf. It's hidden.
Yeah.
As little as 2 weeks, as long as 2 years, and many scientists postulate that the longer it's in this cocoon or chrysalis phase determines how large it's going to be. Now, it's crazy because why would it isolate itself? Why would it go into this condition where like I was on top of the world. I'm 100 times my size. Like I was at the top of my game. Like, why would I do that? It is because it is, and I'll use the term universe. It is the conditions that have been created in the universe that say it is now time for you to evolve. And it begins this process both voluntarily and involuntarily. And I think that's the same thing that's true with God in our lives, is that there are these processes that we're like, everything was great. Well, what's up with this? Let's use circumstances. Everything was great. What about this? It stays in this cocoon and it comes out something totally different than what it was in stage 3. Stage 3, it was walking into the cocoon. Stage 4, it's going to fly out of the cocoon. You didn't need wings in stage 2 because you were walking on everything. Stage 4, you're going to be flying over what you used to walk in.
Yeah.
That's life. That's leadership. That's business. That's family. That's entrepreneurship. It's just this constant evolution, and you're in different stages and different areas of your life. And this is why sometimes you can feel like you're all over the place. It's
Yeah.
because you are. This area is in stage 1. This area is in stage 2. This area is in stage 3. This area is in stage 4. What the best leaders do is learn how to manage the chaos so it looks like cosmos.
Y'all picking up what he's throwing down? Y'all picking that up? Man, how powerful is that to say that when one of those stages, in order to evolve, they have to sink in to the ground and go into hiding. And from like a logical perspective, it doesn't make sense. How God is this next thing that you're asking me to do and I'm feeling led to do actually the catalyst for my greatest change and actually going to propel me? Because sometimes it feels like we're having to step back in order to go forward. And I think that's where the faith game comes in, because this is a spiritual game, y'all. I don't know if you know it. It is. The next thing that I asked Bishop Foreman about, this one's good, and I need you to lean into this one. This one's good, is when we're evolving into the next level of ourselves, there are a million options sometimes, directions. Aunt Betty's like, you know what, you should do this. Your boss is like, hey, this is what you're going to do. You have a lot of desires, talents, skills. There's more doors opening up for you. There's more, I don't want to call it a distraction, but let's say options out there for you, the more and more you evolve. So it's interesting how we kind of have to go in and have tunnel vision. And I asked Bishop Foreman, as you're evolving, how do we know the next right move, the next right choice? This was profound.
I remember, even as we were making, I mentioned earlier the transition from Denver to Atlanta, and I don't know that I finished that. That was a very interesting decision because there was nothing wrong in Denver. We had built something extremely successful. So who builds something extremely successful in a place where you can't do it and then say, okay, we're going to move our headquarters to a place that frankly, I didn't want to come. I did not want to come to Atlanta. I said, it's too many churches there already, and it's way too many people. And this traffic is demonic. I said, if you want to know where the devil is, he's out here on the highway. He's in this traffic. I said, this is crazy. I did not want to come. But it was this spiritual conviction between our board of directors and myself. We knew this would be next. Not the end, but next. And so we endeavor on this process. And out of all the things I've done, this process has been the most frustrating, slow moving process ever. So you got to remember, I'm used to, we boom, boom, make it happen. And what was crazy is we still did amazing. We saw and have seen, close to 13,000 professions of faith. Last year alone, we saw 1,859. And so in a transitional time, I bring that up to say, I remember praying about certain things. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I got all these options, to your point. I got all these, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? Because that's, the right thing to do. God, what do you want me to do? And the most interesting response ever, and I think this is where a lot of people are. If you think of a child, when you're a kid and you are too young and too immature to know what to do, your parent holds you by the hand. They lead you everywhere. Come here, come here. They pick you up. They put you down. My brother had a son who they named his middle name after me. And so they call him his first name. I call him by his middle name because that's my name. And so they pick him up, they put him down. He's walking now. And so they grab him by the hand. But as he matures and as we mature, you stop holding him by the hand and then you lead them by the voice. And you will then say, okay, stop, son. Stop, sweetheart. Don't go over there. Don't cross the street. But then at a certain point, you're not there anymore because you've trained them well enough to where they are in your image and in your likeness. So you don't have to tell them not to cross the street. They know not to cross the street. The same thing is true, I think, for people who get stuck. And I got all these options, I got all this opportunity, I got all these things I could do in the world, but I feel stuck, I feel stagnant. Maybe it's because you're waiting on a voice when God wants you to make a choice. It's on you. So I remember saying, God, I got all these things I can do. What do you want me to do? He said, what do you want to do, son?
That's so good.
What do you want to do? Well, I want to do, you remember the movie Coming to America? Well, I want to do whatever you want me to do. It's like, no, 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 no. You have been faithful. You've done everything I've told you to do. You didn't perfectly. You've done everything I told you to do. What do you want to do now? And it was a crazy place to breathe because I said, I can relate to this so much because this literally happened. I said, I don't even know. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know what step I want to take. And here's what that put me into. It put me in a place where I was finally able to experience rest. Because since the age of 12, I've been on. Really before that. But since 12, I've been on. I've been chief executive officer, doing all these things. Da, 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 da. So I had one setting which was on. So now you want me to make a choice. Like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to pursue? What do like when the options are unlimited? Sometimes that's the biggest challenge because it's like, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do? This? Do I want to do that?
Yeah.
And part of that is just revealing. I believe it's a revelation to you that you mature to the point to where, like, we're not robots. And I think most people want to live their life as you're a robot. Like, okay, God, okay, God, go eat your eggs. Okay, now go eat your bacon. Okay, now go eat your toast. Okay, now go take a bath. Okay, like you don't do that with your kids.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that with your kids, why in the world would we expect that would be the relationship dynamic that we would have with God? Like, okay, now go call this person. Now go do this. Now go do that. Nope, I've given you skills. I've given you abilities. I've given you talent. Now live your life. I am coming that you might have life, not robot.
Did that did that mess y'all up the way that messed me up? I was like, oh snap. A sign of maturity that you can make a choice, right? What do you want to do? And trusting that we have been taught that we can't trust ourselves. And maybe at the beginning we couldn't. In the early developmental stages as a child, literally and metaphorically, maybe we couldn't trust ourselves. But as we grow and as we develop, can we trust the training that we've got? Y'all think that? Okay, I have one more for you. I know we're almost at time. This next one really messed me up. And I hope it's encouraging you, my friends. Like, first of all, what a gift that we're even having this conversation. I was talking to a friend last night, and to be with folks that are awake and tapped in and tuned in and at the growth mindset, that's a gift alone. Because I know this is a lot and it's painful and there's always something that we need to work on and push ourselves. But also, what a gift that we're aware of that. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about this, when we really think about it, and this is why, that cheesy saying like, enjoy the journey and all that. I mean, I know it's true, but it's true, because the cool thing is there is no limit to where we can go. And if we look at it the right way, this can be incredibly fun. This growth journey. This last clip, this is Bishop Foreman that I connected with yesterday. We talked for over an hour, so that is on a long form podcast. But I wanted to share this with you guys. This last clip, I asked him, and this one's a heavy one. When we're when we're reinventing ourselves, when we're stepping into that next level that God has called us to be. And y'all know in your soul and your bones, there's seasons where you're like, ooh, it's time. It's time to evolve. It is time to grow. One of the things that can be an interesting part to navigate is, Dr. Brandy brought it up yesterday, is the connection to other people. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, a lot of very controversial stuff. And if y'all know me very well, your girl's all up in that. But trying to figure out, how do I remain focused on my path, but also make way and make room for others and be a bridge? Like, when do I spend my time and energy away from like this specific thing God's called me to do, and widen that lens a little bit to look at world issues, to build relationships with other people. Are y'all following what I'm putting down here? Because I told him yesterday, I said, I've been called to be a bridge builder. Glenn and I talk about this all the time. He and I both, I think that's where we connect, is we want to bridge people together. But in 2026, that's an interesting feat. So I asked Bishop about this. This is going to mess me up. I don't know. Mess me up.
So, and I think it's this: it's recognizing every fight isn't a fight worth fighting. So that's number one, right? Because some people that's what they do, is and I was tempted to do that. Certain things that happened, I said, I'm gonna say something. Then I said, yeah, but this is a fight. There's nothing to win. So I can't fight if there's nothing to win. That's how I want my voice heard, but that's wrong. Okay, but there's certain things that even Jesus didn't speak about. They started asking him about the accusations, and you know what he said? Nothing.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
there's a wisdom there that sometimes silence is the solution, not because you're placating or you're saying what's happening is right, but when you realize there's nothing to win by addressing this particular issue. That's number one. There's a wisdom, and sometimes realizing less words has a greater impact in the world. Saying that, combining it with this next point, which is that I can attack an issue and not necessarily attack an individual. And for most people, it turns into individual attacks. And this is not even just in the world. Like this happens in marriages, this happens in friendships, where if you start attacking the individual, you've lost them versus addressing the issue. So I've learned, let's address the issue. Let's not attack the individual. Because when you start attacking the individual, now all of a sudden you've lost it. You can't build a bridge with somebody that you just set on fire. Can't build a bridge with somebody that you just blew up. Like what bridge is there to build? And then thirdly, realizing sometimes being a bridge builder means there's no bridge needed here other than the recognition that we don't have a future together.
You just set me free.
Right? Sometimes I just need to recognize there's nothing to build here. Like there's nothing for us to do other than recognize we're on opposite sides. Think of a bridge, water, or a valley or something in between. The only thing is we're just on opposite sides of this. And there's nothing to do because I stopped trying to get people to like me or agree with me or see it my way, because most people don't like themselves. So why would I be upset about someone not liking me or liking what I have to say or liking my perspective? So my whole belief is if there's nothing to win, it's a fight I want to be in. But then number two, everything doesn't require a bridge to be built. Sometimes the bridge is no bridge here. Sometimes the bridge is you told me everything I needed to hear and what you just said. And that tells me there's nothing that I'm able to do. And it's not my responsibility. That's between you and God. Like you got to figure that out. That's not my responsibility. And even as a pastor, I recognize I'm not going to reach everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody is not going to be. And Paul said, I became all things to all men that I might reach some. So there's an acknowledgement that Peter was really effective at, and think about this. Peter was kind of this thug of a guy. He was really effective at reaching educated Hebrews. That didn't make sense. His background doesn't match who he would reach.
Yeah.
Paul is this extremely educated, very articulate man, and he was very effective at reaching a less educated population that is generally called scripturally, the Gentiles. They weren't educated Hebrews. So how does that work?
Yeah.
The principle is sometimes, and every time Paul tried to build bridges with them, it went really bad. Every time he tried to connect with them, it went really bad. So I recognize that sometimes part of being a bridge builder is just there's no bridge here.
I mean, y'all. Sometimes there's no bridge here. Sometimes this is not my fight. And I think the game right now is not getting distracted, not losing our focus. There's a million things pulling us in a million different directions. And it's wild because when we get really still and and get really quiet, we can hear that still small voice inside of us nudging us and pulling us. Sometimes that voice doesn't make sense. It's telling you to go hide in the cocoon when your instinct is to go be out, right? Sometimes it is telling you to make a choice. I'm not going to save you here. You pick. Do you trust your training? So the name of the game in 2026, I believe, I really do, is a connection back to source and not allowing ourselves to get pulled and pulled and pulled in all the different directions, because sometimes that's not our fight. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was good. Wish I could reach through the screen and hug you. I do. I'm a hugger. I like hugging people. Listen, tomorrow morning, we have another interview. We're going to be talking tomorrow about taking your ideas and your work very, very seriously. We have an incredible guest for you. I hope you have the best day. Love you guys so much. Do me a favor. Also, send Glenn a message or a text or a comment on his post. Let him know that we miss him, we support him, and yeah, just do that for me. Love you guys. Bye.